Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hello and welcome, my friends. I'm back. That is correct. I am back. Had a fun day off yesterday. Had a good day off yesterday. Got a lot done. But I'm back today. Full on, full power, streaming this week. So I hope you guys are ready for a fun, full week of gameplay streaming, guys. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of July, 2020. I say hello to you. I hope you guys had a good day yesterday when I was not here live streaming. And, what did I do? Let's talk a little bit. I know you guys undoubtedly are going to ask me what was I up to yesterday as I was out and about on my day off. So allow me to talk about that first before we get to game news, the game schedule, etc. All right. Well, yesterday I got a haircut. Thank God. Man, that was, in the entirety of the time that I've had long hair, since I grew this out 10 years ago and started doing YouTube full time, that was the longest I've gone without a haircut. By far. That was over 4 months, because I think the last time I got a haircut was probably in late February, and I probably would have went back in April to get one, but because of the pandemic, obviously that was not possible. So finally I got a haircut. Man, I feel so much better. I really do. It's just refreshing to not have hair all over your ears and your face, screwing with your neck and everything. And I already made an appointment for my next haircut 2 months from now. I already scheduled it out and said, let's just set it up for then, shall we? For a nice trim in 2 months. And it was funny because, I'm talking with my hairdresser. And basically the hairdresser's telling me how bad it's been for her and her family. Like, the company she works for didn't even tell the employees when they were going to reopen. Basically, everything was super rushed. They had to go in there and rush within like a day. They had to figure out how to clean everything in the store properly to handle new customers moving forward during this pandemic time. And it's been insane, nonstop haircut, coloring, haircut since they reopened last week. And she's like, yeah, it's great to have the business, but it's basically the most hectic she's ever seen ever. And I'm like, yeah, I can imagine. People wanted haircuts for how many months, and finally they're all going to be coming in now. And she's worried that they're going to close the thing down again, because if you guys have been following the news in the United States, our COVID-19 cases are way up again. Now, not necessarily here in Washington State. There is an increase here, but it's nowhere near as bad as it's been in other places like Florida, Texas, Arizona, etc. But we're in a very liberal state where she's very concerned that if numbers keep going up again, that our governor might literally say we're going backwards in time and we're going to shut everything down again. In which case, how does she continue to provide for her family if they keep shutting down her fucking business, right? And it's a major concern for a lot of people here. But anyway, that was good to finally get my hair cut. Did many different things while we were out. In particular, I don't think there's anything that stands out that you guys really need to know about, besides me going from store to store looking for certain supplies and stuff and things like that. Looks like I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn anymore to go grocery shopping, which is a good change. Many months ago, back in March, when the panic hit, you had the panic buyers who, because of the pandemic, they were running out to the stores and buying every single piece of food, every cleaning item, every piece of paper product. And the only way you could even get anything was going to the store at like 8:30 in the morning. All right. Finally, it looks like that's over with, because I basically said I wasn't going to get up at the crack of dawn this time. I would sleep in maybe a little bit extra by like a half hour and go to the store and see the change. I went and there was no change. The store was fully stocked, had everything I needed, and the store was empty. So next week, what I'm going to do, instead of getting up early like an idiot like I've been doing, I'm just going to get up the normal time I get up every day and go shopping then, and hopefully, they'll have everything, and it's not going to be a major concern where I have to get up hours early now in order to go shopping. So I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see what happens, okay? But it was a good day out. It was a good opportunity to get some exercise, to have some time with my wife, which was very nice, and to get a haircut. So it worked out pretty well. Okay, it did. It worked out pretty well. Now, while all that was going on, of course, I had my review of The Last of Us Part 2 that I put up on YouTube, and, I had my conclusion live stream Monday night. And admittedly, unlike back in the day when a giant high-profile new release would come out, and I would be one of the first people to beat these games and review them, I'm probably one of the last. Seriously, I'm probably one of the last people who reviewed The Last of Us 2. Most people rushed and had their reviews either out at the launch of the game or within a week. And here I was over 2 weeks after finally beating the game and reviewing it. Okay? I definitely enjoyed the fact that you guys were there with me live. It was kind of a cool experience to be able to be here for kind of the conclusion of this very polarizing game. And to be able to, share that with you live on a stream was pretty cool. Basically, for the people who I saw, the good news here is most people, at very least, respect my opinion, and that's a good thing. Okay, for me, being a very different person now than when I started on YouTube. Back in the day, it was like it's my way or the highway, and if you disagree with me, I don't give a fuck about you because I'm right and you're wrong. I don't feel like that anymore. Okay, I feel that, especially with a lot of these games coming out, they're very polarizing, and people have the right to feel differently about them. I realize there's probably many people out there who played The Last of Us Part 2, and they feel like it's the best game ever, 10 out of 10, and hey, if that's what floats your boat, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, how dare you like something I don't like? That would be incredibly immature, But I also have the right to criticize the game in my own right, as I did in my review. And it seems to me like my viewing audience is kind of torn 50-50. Like 50% of the people are in agreement with me on what I said and the criticisms I laid out in the review, and 50% are like, well, despite all your criticisms, I just really liked the game anyway, and I feel that there was more nuance to the game than you got. And then I ask what the nuance is, and no one can actually explain it. Like, okay, what was this actual nuance that you felt was so amazing in the game? Someone was like, oh, I hated the game, and I sat and for 2 days I thought about it after I beat it, and I came back and now I love it. It's my favorite game ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, I beat the game 2 days ago, all right? I've thought about it for 2 days, and I've come back to tell you I still hate it. My thoughts have not changed at all, that I think it was terrible. Okay, I think the plot is one of the worst I've ever experienced. I hated the moments playing this game because of it, and I don't ever want to play it again. Okay, in fact, yesterday, I said this on Twitter. I was like, man, playing the game was very exhausting, and I'm actually very happy that now that I'm done with it and I've reviewed it, I'm done with it. I don't have to talk about The Last of Us 2 every day anymore. I can just say it's done with, now we can move on to other stuff, because that's kind of how I feel. Now that I've been through this very stressful, misery-filled ordeal, the ordeal is over, and I can go back to enjoying games again. Not to say I didn't enjoy the gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, because I did enjoy the gameplay elements of it, but whenever we got back to a plot element that was terrible, I hated it. And I hated having to continue it and having to keep going, and now I don't have to anymore because it's done. So for me, that's actually quite relieving that now we can get back to enjoying ourselves. Seriously. Because that's not how a game should make you feel. If you're going to play a hyper difficult game, like let's say a From Software game, and you're stressed out because the game's difficult to play, that's one thing. If you're playing a game that the story is so horrendously miserable that it's difficult to play just to put up with the misery of the story, this is the first game that's ever happened to me. And I've played video games my whole fucking life. So that says something. And it's not a good thing. It's a very bad thing. Okay? So I even said yesterday in a tweet, I said, when I beat The Last of Us Part 1, we sat down in the credits and talked about it very excitedly about the possibility of a sequel. And as soon as the game was re-released for PS4, I bought it and played it again because people wanted to see me play it again. It was that good of a game. This game, I seriously don't want to play again. And I actually was talking to my wife about this. I said, let's say The Last of Us 3 gets released and people request I play The Last of Us 2 again. I swear to God, this is what I will do. I'll play the game, but I will skip every cutscene. I will skip every fucking cutscene, and it will just be pure gameplay, because the gameplay is what I liked about the game. The story was the worst ever. So I will just skip every cutscene and only do gameplay elements of a second playthrough if I'm ever forced to do one. Okay? Um, so that anyway, that I'm just glad it's over with. Seriously. So for those who watched the playthrough, thank you. For those who watched the review, thank you. I honestly have no idea how either are doing because I don't look at views on YouTube anymore, nor do I look at views on stream. I don't even know how many viewers I had for the conclusion stream. I don't care. I don't look. All I know is it's over with. I'm happy it's over with, and we can do other stuff now. I hope you enjoyed it. It's all on demand there on YouTube. The review is spoiler filled, but I say so as much in the description of the review, so there's no excuse if you watch the review that I didn't know there were spoilers. Well, it says right in the title of it. So I hope you enjoy. All right. Whether you're playing the game yourself and you want to see my review after, or maybe you're on the fence about getting the game and you want to hear an opinion, you can watch the review or whatever, So there you go. All right, fair enough. It's done with. Thank God. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about the schedule coming up. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a couple game release announcements. And that's really all I've got to talk about on the pre-stream today. So, first of all, today I am back to full streaming capacity, double streams every day for the next 6 days. And today, we're going to do a major stream of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I have not done a major stream of Fire Emblem in quite some time. This is good because it'll get us some good advancement in the game, I feel, to the point where we're probably going to get into the next major plot arc, I hope. And we'll have some good leveling. I'm sure we'll have social links and everything. Everything you get in the game, we're going to get good advancement today. And I know some people are really liking the playthrough, and we're hoping that I would do a major stream of it, and here we are. So this is a good thing, okay? And you might be saying, why are you doing this today? I thought that you were going to be doing Sleeping Dogs today. I was going to do Sleeping Dogs as the main stream today, except I found out that the DLCs for Sleeping Dogs are quite short. I thought that they were more lengthy, and that it would take a couple sessions to get through them, but no. We played on Monday, and we beat the entire Nightmare at North Point DLC, which is the horror-themed DLC for Halloween. And now we're in this one, Year of the Snake, which is a DLC about a bunch of crazy terrorists bombing Hong Kong. And we're in the midst of that. The only other DLC left in the game is one where it's racing related and car related. So tonight, that's going to be the late stream. All right, tonight at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be finishing up the Year of the Snake DLC. And if there's extra time, probably swapping over and doing a little bit of that car driving DLC or whatever until the stream ends. So that is today's streaming. Fire Emblem on the early stream, Sleeping Dogs on the late stream. Okay? Tomorrow, it's the return of Ask the King, which means today would be your final chance to post up your questions for Ask the King coming tomorrow. All right, guys? I hope you will. I seriously hope you will. Reason being, the more questions I get for the show... Oh, my God. Got a burp coming up here. The more questions I get for the show, the better the show is. Okay? And right now, last time I checked, there were a decent amount of questions, but I definitely would like as many as possible. So, if you have not yet, please post up your questions. You can type ! Ask the King into the stream chat, or every 20 minutes or so, the link will post up in the stream chat here. I like the show a lot. Now, keep in mind, that show starts later than usual. My usual stream starts around 10:15. When I do Ask the King, starts a little bit after noon. Reason being, I need that extra time to sit down, review all your questions, make a list of the ones I'm going to answer, think about my answers, get all the information together. The setup for the show is very different than it is for a normal gameplay stream. So it's going to be a little different tomorrow than it usually is. All right? But it should be a fun stream. I usually have a lot of fun with Ask the King. I'm very much looking forward to this tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow night, Thursday night, more Animal Crossing. I'm actually really excited for this because when I played Animal Crossing on Sunday, I had a lot of fun with it. Now that they've added in this new underwater diving element, there's a lot more creatures, a lot more stuff you can collect, and it's very brand new. Like, everything I'm grabbing is a new item. That's really neat. In addition, there's way more bugs, there's way more fish, there's just more to do in the game. So I'm looking for a nice, chill, fun stream with you guys Thursday night of Animal Crossing. Then on Friday, it is the big new release, Deadly Premonition 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, it's funny because I just saw someone in stream chat saying, oh man, the game apparently has frame rate issues. Well, are you surprised? First of all, the original Deadly Premonition, I didn't play the original game. I played the supposed upgraded version that was supposed to run better. I think it was on PlayStation 3, and it didn't. It was choppy. That game had a lot of graphical issues when I played it. But the thing was, the game was so quirky and unique, the graphical issues didn't really bog it down. It didn't really matter. I still thought the game was a really unique, outstanding experience, and the only thing that kind of held it back was the graphics themselves. So fast forward 7 years later to now, Deadly Premonition 2 is a Switch exclusive. Of course it's going to run like shit, because the Switch is not a powerful console. We know this. We know that the Switch is not a great console. Don't you remember when I tried to play Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on the console, and even that ran like duty? It's like this game was designed from the ground up to be on this console, and it runs like shit, because the console sucks. It's underpowered, just like every Nintendo console. Like, this isn't shocking to me that the game supposedly is going to run badly on the Switch. I'm not at all. In fact, I'm kind of like expecting it to be laughably bad and have segments with low frame rate and many issues because it's a Switch exclusive, okay? So that starts Friday. If you don't know what Deadly Premonition is, it was a murder mystery thriller where you're a detective who has a lot of like personal quirks to him, a lot of weird eccentricities, and he goes to a small town to investigate a series of murders, and he's basically going through fighting supernatural demons and things that he finds in the town. And there's a ongoing element of there's a killer who's sneaking around you need to hide from, but get clues on who the killer is. It's got weird mini games like fishing and fun stuff in it, and then at the very end of the game, it's the wildest, craziest, oh my god, what the fuck is going on kind of plot you've ever seen in a video game. I'm not going to spoil that if you've never seen the playthrough before. I would strongly recommend that you guys watch the original playthrough if you've never seen it. I know it's going to be considered very outdated at this point because it is a very old playthrough, 7+ years old. But the game is so unique that watching it, if you've never seen it, you're going to be like, what the hell? And I seriously hope this new game is in the same vein. I seriously do. That would actually be very pleasing to me if they make it a really weird, eccentric game again. So I hope it is. So that's this Friday. I can't wait. I hope that you guys will watch this with me or watch me play it as I start on Friday. Friday night, it is Throwback Street Fighter night. Old school Street Fighter throwdowns around 6:45 p.m. on the late stream. And then I'm going to be playing more Deadly Premonition 2 on Saturday. And Saturday night, probably going to do more Fire Emblem, I'm thinking, as the late stream. You'll get some more Fire Emblem in as a session, okay? Now, what I basically do on Sunday and Monday is completely up in the air, all right? It could be more Deadly Premonition. If I'm really liking the game, chances are I'm going to want to keep playing it because the next week, we're going to have 2 major new releases coming out that Friday on the same day. So I might want to get as far into Deadly Premonition as I can and maybe even beat it by, next week's. But so that way I can just have 2 new games to come along and not have 3 games that I'm juggling. So I may play Deadly Premonition all weekend long as the main stream. And then every night do something different. Like I might do Saturday night Fire Emblem, Sunday night, maybe like Morrowind or Minecraft, and then maybe Monday night more Fire Emblem or something like that. Okay, I'm actually strongly leaning towards that because I would like to get as far into this game as possible before the new releases hit. Okay, now I don't know how long Deadly Premonition is. The original game, if I'm remembering correctly, I really can't remember off the top of my head, but I swear it was decent length. So I guess we shall see. Okay, Real Dead King is really set on me covering this Ubisoft press conference that I just don't give 2 fucks about. He's saying, Ubisoft press conference, Ubisoft. All right, so here, I'll give you a spoiler on Ubisoft's press conference. Half of it will be shit. Half of it will be a fucking stupid sports or racing game, that we don't care about. And it'll be their stupid Just Dance horse shit or whatever it is. And then there will be probably coverage of Assassin's Creed. And there'll probably be coverage of Watch Dogs Legion. But it's not going to be super exciting. In fact, Ubisoft event is usually quite poor. I would rank it, usually it's the bottom 2 things that are held at E3 every year. Of course, there is no E3 this year. So, no, I'm not going to be live covering the Ubisoft event. Will I eventually be trying to get caught up on all the news and then talk about it on my streams? Yes, but I'm not doing live coverage of that event, okay? It's just stupid. The event is not going to be good. Just like the EA event. It's not going to be good. Trust me on this one, okay? So there you go. Okay, so that's kind of the schedule. It's going to be Deadly Premonition 2 almost all weekend, unless the only exception here would be we're playing it every day and we get bored of it. Like, oh my god, I played it 3 days straight and now it's like, oh my god. Then maybe I'll take a break and we'll do something different. But I really foresee myself kind of playing it a lot because I want to get as far into it as I can before we get into the new releases for the next week, which are going to be the big new releases for the month. What new releases are those? Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Paper Mario and the Origami King, both coming out a week from this Friday. And both of which look like they're probably going to be outstanding games. Actually, right now, the hype train for Ghost of Tsushima has finally begun to hit. All right? And no one can review the game yet. Apparently, the embargoed reviews can't come out for a couple more days. But a lot of people seem to be leaning towards this is an amazing game. Sucker Punch, is a good studio. And they basically put a lot of work into this new game IP. And someone actually wrote, which is funny because they weren't supposed to do this, but they broke embargo. And they wrote, the side content in Ghost of Tsushima is some of the most well-written and meaningful side content since The Witcher 3. Now, for those of you who didn't play The Witcher 3 or watch my playthrough, essentially the reason I liked the game so much is because everything you did in the game felt meaningful. If you had a side content mission, it had a plot, it had meaningful characters, it made you feel like it was worth doing because it all had good writing. It wasn't like, go kill 10 generic goblins. There was nothing like that in the game. It was like, go on a hunting mission and find out the creature that's been killing our livestock, and you find out it's some crazy supernatural thing. One thing leads to another. A lot of missions that were multifaceted, and they led one mission to another mission. It was basically some of the best writing I've ever seen. And, we haven't had a game like that in a long time. That's been a game that kind of stands alone with the quality of everything in the game was top notch. And I guess this one person, again, it's only one person, kind of leaked that that's how Ghost of Tsushima feels. So if that's the case, that's amazing. I hope it's true. I hope it's not just some guy, just like with The Last of Us 2, trying to kiss the game's butt, and it's full of duty. But I hope that it's true because I'm telling you guys, I can't think of a single game so far this year that I would consider Game of the Year material. Not a single one. Not to say there weren't good games this year, but there's not been a single game that's been like, wow, that blew me out of the water, Game of the Year. Hopefully this will be. Okay? Hopefully. But I guess we're going to find out. All right? So yeah, that's coming out a week from Friday, along with Paper Mario and the Origami King. So those two games are going to take big priority for about a week or two as I balance through and play those through till the end of the month. And because of that, I knew I want to get done with Deadly Premonition 2, or at least be very near the end of it by the time those come out, so that way I'm not stuck in the midst of a playthrough. Okay? So that's what you can expect for the next week. Today, Fire Emblem and the conclusion of Sleeping Dogs. Tomorrow, Ask the King and Animal Crossing. Starting on Friday, Deadly Premonition 2 and Street Fighter. And then basically Deadly Premonition all weekend, balanced with chill streaming at night, in the hopes that maybe I can finish it up for next week. Next week, we got a double new release, which will be really exciting. Now, in addition to that, guys, we hit the subscriber goal for the month. I know we dipped a ridiculous amount of subs the last day. We lost like 30 subs because I wasn't here. That's what always happens. But we're doing a viewer's choice event. That means you guys get to nominate and vote on games that will be a full-on playthrough here on the streams. Please do so by typing !viewer's choice into the stream chat to bring up the link. Or, again, every 15, 20 minutes or so, those links will automatically be kind of pasted into the stream chat. So I hope that you'll check that out. And please, the more nominations we get, the better that event is. Please keep in mind, you want to get games nominated more than once and make it to that final poll that you guys are going to be voting on in a couple of weeks. So you might want to campaign to get a game that you want to see there as the viewer's choice. Campaign to have other people nominate it as well. All right? So that's going on right now. And because you guys asked for it, I set up a Tier 2 subs goal. The Tier 2 subs goal is 765 subs. All right? If we hit 765 subscriptions at any point during the month of July, I will be doing a second viewer's choice playthrough. Basically, the top 2 games in the polling will become full playthroughs instead of just the winner. And people seem to like that. Last time around when I did that, people loved that there was a runner-up that also became a full playthrough. So, that's why we're doing it that way. And I hope that you'll continue to nominate. Just so you know, some of the games previously, like Banjo-Tooie and Fire Emblem, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Just so many games that have become full playthroughs because of you guys and your input. It's really amazing. Okay. So if you have not subscribed yet, consider subscribing. You get many benefits, including over 40 emotes. Yes, I said that. Over 40 emotes that I have on my channel. Probably one of the biggest emote selections of any channel on Twitch. In addition, you get a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. And in addition to all of that, you also don't have to watch ads. Everyone hates ads. So when I take an ad break, you won't have to watch them. All right? Also consider gifting some subs. Being nice to your fellow stream viewers. You want to be nice to them, give them a nice present. You know, that's a good way to support your other stream viewers, just to gift them a sub. Okay? All right, so I think I've covered all the things I want to cover. I just want to talk about 2 game release updates this morning. All right? So the first game release update I'd like to talk about is a game that we had a little bit of information about a couple of months ago, and it wasn't a very positive reaction that the game community had to it. At that point, the game didn't even really have a full name yet, and now it does. The name of this game is WWE 2K Battlegrounds. It now has an official release date of September 18th, 2020. This game is not a standard WWE 2K game. It is not a simulation game. It is not meant to be realistic at all. The characters are cartoony as hell. In some ways, they kind of look like caricatures of their real selves. If you guys remember, many years ago, there was a game that kind of looked just like this. Only back then, of course, they had a whole different slew of wrestlers like CM Punk and stuff that were in that game. And so, it looks weird. All right. It does. You're watching it, and it's like cartoony characters doing over-the-top attacks, throwing each other into the mouths of crocodiles. You know, weird stuff going on. If anything, now we have an idea that it's going to be a varied cast. It's going to have modern superstars like Braun Strowman, Kofi Kingston, etc., combined with classics like Sergeant Slaughter and The Undertaker and Andre the Giant. So it will have a variety of wrestlers in it. It wasn't apparent from the first trailer, you know, who's going to be in this game, but now we kind of have an idea that it'll be a good variety. Yeah, some people in Stream Chat are saying that the original game was called WWE All-Stars. That's right. And that game was, that was 10 years ago, right? It was about 10 years ago when WWE All-Stars came out, and since then, all WWE games have just been plain up straight sims. But now they're not doing that this year. They're making this weird, cartoony, arcadey style game. Could it be good? Maybe. But when you've been creating the WWE 2K franchise for so many years, and that game is robust. It has simulations where you can make your own kind of WWE universe thing. You've got online creation components. You've got a story mode. You know what I mean? That game has a ton of content. How do they think they're going to sell this game at the same price as 2K? I have no idea. Now, of course, they haven't announced the price yet. But if they're trying to sell WWE 2K Battlegrounds for $60, I'd be like, that's a tough sell. Because most people are not going to drop $60 for a game that's arcadey and you'll play it for a few times and maybe, you know, beat a story and maybe mess around a tiny bit online, then you're done with it, you know? They used to get so much replayability and robust amount of content in the WWE 2K games every year, and now apparently you're going to get a completely different experience with this game. So I don't know how this game's going to do. I'm admittedly intrigued by it, and what I mean by that is it seems to me like it's almost like an oddity that I might want to check out just because it's so weird and not what WWE usually does. And maybe it'll give us a few funny streams. You know what I mean? It might give us a few silly, funny streams of just mess around fun gameplay that's not so serious. So maybe I will check it out and get it. I'm not sold on it, but maybe I will. You know, we'll see as we get closer to the release of the game if I get interested in it or not. Alright, but it's a possibility. The other game I want to talk about is the return of the horror anthology series, the Dark Pictures Anthology. The second game in this series, is it called Little Hope? I think it's called Little Hope. So if you remember last year, they had their first game, which was about a group of deep sea explorers and divers basically being kidnapped by a bunch of pirates and being forced to go on a ghost ship or derelict ship where everyone went nuts because of some kind of hallucinogenic gas and ended up killing each other off in a pretty crazy, gruesome plot line. All right? I thought it was all right. I definitely enjoyed it. It was called Man of Medan. Yeah, it was called Man of Medan. And I liked it, but I certainly didn't think that that game was as good as Until Dawn, which is the previous game that this team kind of made, a horror game. I thought it was all right, but it wasn't great. The first playthrough of it was quite good because you don't know what's going on. I did a second playthrough to do alternate choices, and once you knew that the supernatural element in the game actually wasn't supernatural, that it was just hallucinogenic gas, it actually wasn't as good, okay? But it was fun to play. I enjoyed it. So this is the second game in this Dark Pictures anthology series. And this game, apparently, it's supposed to be a throwback to the old Salem witch trials, where in Massachusetts, you know, the Puritans, who were earlier settlers of the Americas, the United States, basically were religious zealots and felt that there were people, women in their town who were witches, and they basically burned these women alive, all right, to say, oh, we're punishing the evil and we're banishing this evil from our town. It's a pretty fucked up part of American history. Apparently, this new game is set in modern times, but apparently there's a throwback to these witch trials and there's a supernatural element. Maybe one of the witches is coming back for revenge or something. It's not clear what the hell's going on. But it certainly seems pretty interesting, you know. And again, I like horror games. We haven't had one in a while, so I'm excited for this game. This game is coming out October 30th. Okay, October 30th. Now, I'm actually curious here because I don't know dates this year of anything. Let me take a look at my calendar. We'll do it live. Okay, we're going to do it live here. So October 30th would be a Friday. So that's why it probably comes out then, because it's a Friday. I usually do a Halloween horror marathon on Halloween. So this could be a unique week because what I might do is play it as a new release on that Friday, okay? And then that Saturday we have our Halloween horror marathon event, right? And during that event, we could basically be playing a variety of games that you guys nominate, which would be pretty neat. But maybe we'll even have like the continuation of this playthrough as well as part of the Halloween horror event, which would be quite cool because I don't think I ever really do like a mainstream game playthrough during my Halloween events. I just kind of do one-off kind of things. That could be pretty neat. I'm actually pretty excited for that. I think that sounds good. So, yeah, we'll see as we get closer to Halloween and all of that, exactly how I'll handle it. But I'm excited for this. Yes, I will be playing Little Hope. And I hope you'll join me for that. More than likely, that I'll play it that Friday as a new release, and then probably the next day as part of the Halloween marathon event. Should be pretty neat. Okay. Outside of all that, I don't really have much else to talk about today. I think I've covered all the topics I wanted to talk about on the pre-stream, guys. So, wow, excuse me. Holy shit. So, I think it's time to get to shoutouts. Because I think we have quite a few shout-outs I need to address this morning. Let's go ahead and do it. First of all, I have many shout-outs of people who contributed when I was not even here during my day off. So let's get started. YouTube viewer tipped me $1.30 over a day ago and said, I'm going to start watching your Last of Us 2 review. Big ups. I'll tip again to let you know how horribly wrong you are if I disagree with you. Then the YouTube viewer tipped me another $1.30 and said, I watched your review, and it's actually an awesome video. Very fair and detailed. I'm looking forward to your playthrough of Neil Druckmann's God of War 2, where Kratos gets brutally murdered in the first hour, and you spend the next 20 hours punching his son to a pulp. That's actually a great comparison, because that's pretty much what happened in The Last of Us Part 2. All right, so thank you to YouTube viewer for the tips, and I hope that you did appreciate, well, not appreciate, I hope that you enjoyed the review. Thank you for that. I appreciate your contribution, is what I meant to say when I said appreciate. Tana Mouter did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you, Tana Mouter. Only Ice Coffee cheered yesterday and said, hope you're having a good day on your day off. I did. Golden Colts did 2 100-bit cheers. Thank you very much. The first contribution for today was, hold on a second. Hold on. This is screwed up. No, okay. The first contribution for today was from Rob. And he tipped $10. So thank you very much, Rob. Let me get him up on the leaderboard. It looks like he tipped the second that I started the stream. He tipped me $10. Thank you for that, Rob. Whoops. And Rob says the following. Don't forget to put Petra and Flame back in your party today. Actually, yeah. Thank you for the reminder. So, here's what happened. The last couple times that I played Fire Emblem, I've been playing it as a late night stream, only playing it for like 2 hours at a time. And I was recommended at one point, they said, recruit the teachers, because it'll unlock optional plot lines if you recruit them, and they'll be able to do stuff to help train your students and everything. So I recruited them, but when I recruited them, the game now by default keeps putting them into my party for combat, which I didn't intend. I wanted to keep the students in my party, level them up, give them specialization classes, and instead the game just keeps giving me the teachers. And honestly, I don't like the teachers as much. I think the kid, like Petra, I just made her an assassin. Flame, I was leveling her up as a white mage, and now they kind of got frozen and not able to play. So yes, my intention today is basically to put the kids back into the party and get the teachers the hell out of there. Thank you. And when we do our first fight of the today, I will try to figure out how to do that because I've actually not done that yet. Okay. Phil Burnell, proctologist, tipped $1.01 and said Kanye announced today he's making his own political party called the Birthday Party. He wants to make the whole White House like Wakanda. Well, it looks like you were completely right about him not taking this seriously and doing this for publicity. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, he's obviously looking for publicity. That's obvious. But everything the guy does, he's looking for publicity. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. He's always kind of been like that. Do stuff for publicity value. Do I feel he's being serious about running for president? I have no idea. This guy could be in, like, this long-running joke. Or he might actually be serious. All right? One of the things he said in this interview that was released this morning that, at this point, I can't believe I'm hearing. And, quite frankly, I would hope that this one statement would be enough that people will not take him seriously as a political candidate. He says, oh, I'm anti-vaccine, and I think that I had COVID-19 back in February. I didn't see a doctor or anything. I just toughed it out at home and rolled around and felt like shit having a fever. And, vaccines are part of, like, the KKK and white supremacy, man. So they want to put microchips inside of all of us, the mark of the beast stuff, dude. You can't do that. Now, I just want you to think about what he just said, all right? The man who wants to be the president of the United States is basically telling people that vaccines are bad. So he would tell you that when they design a vaccine for COVID-19, not to take it. And he wants to be the ruler of our country, or I say the ruler. He wants to be the head of the political system of our country. That has 1,000,000% eliminated him, in my mind, as ever being a serious contender as a politician. He doesn't give a fuck about the well-being of anyone. He's a nut job. If he's being serious, that's the thing. Maybe he's not. Maybe this is a joke to him. Maybe this is just like, he saw Donald Trump got elected, and he thought that he would do things for attention during his presidency, like wear the hat and go see him and shit. And now, maybe this is another way for him to just get attention for himself. I have no idea, okay? But I'll tell you right now, when you make harmful statements like vaccines are bad and no one should take them, you are going to kill people by saying stupid shit. And I would never say something as dumb as that. As fucked up, Not to say that I have any kind of reach like he does, but that's just completely fucked. So, I will never pay attention to another thing this motherfucker says, ever. And I hope you will treat him the same, because when he said, oh, I don't care about the people of America, don't take a vaccine, because that's like, the mark of the beast, dude. I say, all right, so you're a brain-dead idiot, and I'm done fucking listening to anything you have to say. Okay, then. All right, Ornite has subscribed to the channel for 9 months. He says, when your next special event celebration comes up, can you do a tier maker list for food and games? I'd love to hear your opinions for these. I'm sure the chat would love to hear it. I have no idea what that means. What the hell is a tier maker list for food and games? I don't know. If anyone else can elaborate and give me more information, maybe I'll consider it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Lucifer sold at 150-bit cheers. I'm in a Panda Express drive-thru. Do you want anything? Not from Panda Express. It's funny to me Because there's a Panda Express right here where I live, in a local shopping center. And they've actually branded themselves as gourmet food. It actually says gourmet Chinese food. And I'm like, Panda Express is gourmet food? Says who? Panda Express used to be in my local mall when I was a teenager. I had friends who worked at Panda Express, okay? My friends wouldn't eat there. They knew that all the food was frozen and basically would just be thawed out, tossed under a fucking heat lamp, sitting there all day long, overcooking, becoming dry and disgusting. The food is the least authentic Chinese food you could probably buy anywhere in the country of the United States of America. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I never ate it. In fact, I would say that I used to have I think it was their lo mein or chow mein, I can't remember which it is, and their teriyaki chicken that they had, and actually their orange chicken. I used to eat that from time to time, and I used to enjoy it, even though it's incredibly unhealthy for you and probably the least authentic food out there. But, like, for them to say that they are gourmet food is blatant, like misrepresentation, misadvertising. You know, how can you say that? That's like Subway saying eat fresh when 95% of the ingredients in their store were not made in the store. Their bread is frozen and made somewhere else and shipped in. Their food, their meat was made months and months and months ago in some factory somewhere, slapped together in wax paper that they then slap on your fucking rubber bread. Their veggies aren't even fresh. Those are cut, pre-done in a lot of cases. They're pre-shredded lettuce and shit. You know what I mean? Like, nothing in the store is fresh. Their logo is Eat Fresh, which makes no sense. So, to me, when you hear, oh, gourmet, it's like, what? Gourmet? If that's gourmet food, you know, the McDonald's must be like gourmet burgers, you know? But anyway, Panda Express is a pass for me. Especially where I live, there's so many authentic, good Asian-style cuisine restaurants out here of so many different cultures. We've got Japanese, we've got Chinese, we've got Taiwanese, we've got Vietnamese. So there's like 5 others as well that I'm not coming to mind right now. There's so many that I would never eat Panda Express. So that's a hard pass for me. Lego Mario tipped me $1. So there's a suggestion for the next DSP tries it. Instead of buying random fast food items, why not go to some place like Walmart and buy a food product, buy the cheap generic store brand, and buy the same thing, only more expensive, and compare the two? Number one, I'm not going to Walmart. I fucking refuse. I'm not stupid. That's the worst place I could possibly be right now with the way the world is. I'm not stepping foot in Walmart. That's a big no-go. If you had an actual example, like you said, well, here's a product, you get a generic, you get a name brand, you can compare the two, then please, by all means, but I don't know what you mean, like what you're talking about here. The whole appeal of DSP Tries, I've explained this many times to people, the whole appeal of DSP Tries is that when I review a fast food item, that's an item that most of you guys who watch that show could go try yourself. You could watch my review of it, and based on my feedback, say either you want to try it or you don't, and you could go get it yourself. That's the cool thing about DSP Tries, and me trying a product that's a new common product that you can get. Now, I went to a specific store, bought a specific thing. Like, people say, why don't you eat a salad? Because who the fuck cares about what I think about a salad? You could make a salad yourself at home. Why do you want to see me make a homemade salad or buy a salad from my local grocery store? What the fuck does that have to do with the show? It undermines the premise of the show. That's why I don't do that. So if I go to my local grocery store and I buy a generic thing versus a name brand thing and I taste test the two, that's great, but why do you care? That would, like, kind of not the point of the show, right? So it's up to you. Come up with some ideas. Let me know what you think. Awesomeness Kaboom Cheers said a couple of questions. We beginning WWE Battlegrounds. Already answered that question. I'm interested in it, but I don't know yet. What do you think of Xbox buying WB Games? Well, Xbox did not buy WB Games, but they're interested in it. Okay? That's interesting to me because the funny part about that is when I was part of Machinima, WB and WB Games bought Machinima. Okay? They acquired Machinima. They financed Machinima. And in Machinima, we all thought there was going to be an exclusive partnership between, like, WB Games and Machinima. And, like, oh, man, maybe I'll get opportunity to cover WB Games ahead of time, or we'll get, like, exclusive things to cover their games. And nothing ever happened. It was a complete waste of everyone's time and money, and then Machinima went out of business. Now I guess WB Games is going to get bought, right? They're looking to get bought. If Microsoft buys them, I don't see that as a negative. Now, if all the WB Games stuff becomes Microsoft exclusives, obviously some people are going to have issue with that, because WB Games have always been cross-platform. You know, we're talking all of the stuff under NetherRealm. So that includes Injustice, that includes Mortal Kombat, that also includes anything DC related. Pretty much all the licenses are there. So you're talking the Arkham series and, you know, Rocksteady Games, who's making these games. Right? I think it includes that. I could be wrong, but I think it includes that. So, you know, it could be interesting. It could be interesting. I don't know what would happen. But I'd rather have them be bought by a company who's going to support them and let them make great games, you know? So, like if you told me Microsoft bought them, I'd be pleased. If you told me EA bought them, I'd be very upset. Because EA has this tendency to control and to do things that people don't like and then ruining games. So I would hope that you know, EA doesn't buy it. So. Okay. Antisocial Age resubscribed for 3 months in a row and said, "Oh yeah, thank you very much, Antisocial Age, for the ongoing support. I appreciate that." Last Rambo Cheers says, "I have 2 questions. Why were you expressionless and acted with no personality in the Abbey boss fight against the Rat King? In boss fights of other games, you're hyped and were very expressive." Second question, honestly, because it was like super intense, and I was treating it super seriously, as if it were a tough boss fight of like Dark Souls or Resident Evil or another game. I was like, that was actually, in my opinion, one of the most fun gameplay segments of the whole game. It was a real boss fight. The rest of the game never really had one. And so that was actually quite fun to take on a real crazy new creature, mutated boss that could insta-kill you at any moment. I actually think that was a gameplay highlight for me. And I was trying to stay hyper-focused in order to beat this damn thing. Then he says, second question, after watching your Last of Us 2 review, I'm curious how your opinion of the Saw franchise. I would say the first Saw movie was actually really good. It was a crazy murder mystery. You didn't know what was going on. You always had to try to put the clues together. The end is a super twist ending, and it's really well done. Is it gruesome? Yeah. Not as gruesome as some of the other shit, but gruesome nonetheless. Since then, the Saw movies became more convoluted, more gruesome. A lot of them had scenes solely for gore shock factor. And I think that the series gets worse and worse and worse with every new movie that came out. To the end, it was drivel. It was trash. Okay? So, you know, can gore be done artistically? Yes. But when you do it for the sake of shock factor over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum, you just either become numb or sick. You know? And I just became sick. I just didn't want to fucking play the game anymore. Last of Us 2, that is. So... But no, I actually do not. I'm not in love with the Saw series or anything. I thought the first movie was very good. And then since then, it just went down, 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 down. Crap. Okay? Awesomeness Kaboom Cheers says, I cheered before, ignore this one. I don't know if it got sent or not. Yes, I did. I read out your message and we answered your questions. Last Rainbow Cheers says, your tirade against the Switch is false. There are Switch exclusives that run well, while there are games on Xbox One and PS4 that ran poorly. It's up to the developers to tweak the game. You're right, but isn't it funny that the first-party developers seem to be fine making the games for Switch, and everyone else who makes a Switch exclusive or a game ported to the Switch runs like duties? You notice that, right? I'm not making it up. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was a game designed from the ground up to be on the Switch, and it runs like shit. This game, Deadly Premonition 2, supposedly is going to run like shit, even though it's a Switch exclusive. You can't make it up. I'm not making these facts up. It seems to me only the first-party games run well on the Switch, and everything else runs poorly. These are facts. This is not, I'm lying. This is fucking documented, dude. Like, you gotta understand something. The Switch is not a great console. It has great games when it comes to the first-party stuff. It's not a great game console. It's under-fucking-powered for what modern game devs want to do, and, I'm sorry, not every game dev is going to completely redesign their process of how they make games just to port a game or make a game exclusively for the Switch. It's, you know, do I blame them to some extent? Yeah, the game should absolutely be more polished, but when you're forced to make a nerfed version of what you want to do to run on a console that's basically a generation behind, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And Nintendo continuously does this over and over and over. They make it underpowered consoles generation after generation after generation, and people make excuse after excuse. I'm not one of those fucking people. Awesomeness Kaboom Cheers. A Deadly Premonition 2 is going to be 20 hours long. Okay, if that's the case, if Deadly Premonition 2 is 20 hours long, each of my gameplay streams is between 3 and 4 hours. That's good to know, because I can play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then potentially even Wednesday, Thursday, and beat it right in time for the new releases on Friday. So I might actually just play it nonstop all weekend through as the main gameplay stream, if that is the case. Thank you for that information. Ripley Atomic cheered. He says, play Jia Jia Ding Dong. No. Jia Jia Ding Dong. Been there, done that. Actually, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Lies for Soul cheered. He says, skip that Battlegrounds crap. Play some of the older SmackDown vs. Raw series. The whole point of me playing new releases is to show you if they're good or not. Even if Battlegrounds is laughably bad, we'll at least enjoy. We'll at least enjoy a few silly streams of it. You know what I mean? And then people will know whether to buy it or not. You know, we all know that the old SmackDown vs. Raw games are good, but they're also incredibly outdated, and no one's going to care about me playing those. Awesomeness Kaboom cheered. He says, Deluxe is $60, WWE Battlegrounds. Deluxe, so you're saying the regular version is cheaper, but there's a Deluxe version that'll be $60? All right, I'll have to look into the pricing model for this game then. Thank you for that info. DSPN Wings cheered. He says, will you be able to transfer points from other WWE games that you have played? The game has nothing to do with other WWE games at all. So the answer I'm going to assume is no, unless 2K Games says, yeah, if you have evidence that you bought the previous 2K games, you'll get something exclusive in Battlegrounds. I've not heard anything to that effect. ATS 318 cheers. Did you ever play Legends of WrestleMania? That sounds familiar. I think I did. That sounds familiar to me. I think that's a game I played for YouTube. Wasn't that the one that had a lot of cutscenes and shit in it? And I think a lot of the videos ended up getting, like, taken down because of the cutscenes that they had in them, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure I played it. DSPN Wings Cheers says, you were like an old man howling at the moon during the review. All right, good. I'm glad you think that. Buster Baxter, tip me $1. Have you ever thought about designing your own vest? There's sites where you can upload a logo. I don't really care. I'm not a clothing designer. I don't want to make my own custom vest. It's really not the point. Lego Mario tipped $1. Another suggestion, in the case where the vest gets played out, remember you had a jersey that says Dark Side Phil, you can do something like that. Yeah, I have multiple. I have 3 jerseys. One is white with black lettering. One is black with white letter, or gray lettering, excuse me. And then one is black with blue and white lettering. And what they were actual NFL jerseys I bought in the early 2000s with the customized name Dark Side Phil on the back. And I wore those to tournaments. You know, back then when no one knew who I was, I wanted to stand out at tournaments. I would wear the jersey and people would know, oh, that's DSP, look. So, yeah, I do have those jerseys still in my closet. I could wear those. The Maniac Cop should 100-bit cheers. I was patrolling on my bicycle during your day off when all of a sudden I farted. As a result, I sharded. I was very embarrassed. Have a good stream. Thanks for the very, very candid story. We all appreciate that, Maniac Cop. Ruby Atomic cheers says, have you spoken about the Smash Brothers community and the controversy surrounding it? Basically, all I've said is it's horrible. And I couldn't imagine that these gamer houses where underage kids were living with other kids even existed, because back in the day, my parents, even though I was in a competitive Street Fighter, never would have fucking let me do anything like that. It's just, my question is, where are the responsible adults in these situations to be monitoring the behavior of these people playing fucking Smash? Because if you got underage kids who are in these situations, what the fuck's going on? Why are they put into those situations with no supervision? That just blows my fucking mind. Okay? But that's about all I have to say, because I don't know anything really about it. Ben Boxer tipped me $1. Says, I'm voting Carrot Top or Andy Dick for president. Opinions? You're an idiot. Albert Aponte tipped me $2.30. Says, how are you? What are the major games you're going to play next that you're excited about? Well, we already talked about that, Alfred. Coming up this Friday, we got Deadly Premonition 2 that I'm very excited for. Then we've got next week, Ghost of Tsushima, as well as Paper Mario and the Origami King. Once we get through those, there is actually the Destroy All Humans remake. And then what we're going to do is, if we get to the next Vest celebration, which I hope we do, the 200 Vest celebration, right, 200 straight, I'm going to go through the game schedule for the rest of the year to outline the games that I'm going to be checking out and playing, which hopefully, the game releases will have been updated by then. And so that'll be our next opportunity to take a look at them and then I'll be able to give you a better answer. Okay? Tarantula MS 2018. It became the top. No, actually, no. Rob's still the top tipper. My bad. But he gave me $4.20. He says, "Hiya, Phil. I haven't played The Last of Us 2. I watched bits and pieces of your review to avoid being spoiled. I was wondering if the violence in the game is similar in scale to the violence in a Manhunt game. It's worse than Manhunt. Reason being, Manhunt is not hyper realistic. It's not. This game is hyper realistic. People are walking around having conversations with each other like they're friends." And then out of nowhere, you jump out of the shadows and slit their throat and fucking blood squirting everywhere. They're gurgling. There's scenes with people being disemboweled. There's scenes with people's arms being smashed into paste with a hammer. It's fucking gross. It's the most realistic, torturous game I've ever seen when it comes to gore and violence in my whole life. And I played Outlast and all that shit. This is actually worse than that, in my opinion. Fred Flintstone subscribed for 35 months. Can we get a shout out to Phil Burnell? I hear he's your biggest fan. Very nice. Thank you, Phil Burnell, wherever you are, whoever you could possibly be. Awesomeness Kaboom Cheers says, Bailey isn't even in the game. I loved... well, you could love her. I don't know if she's in Battlegrounds or not. I haven't looked at the roster. So... oh, don't worry. I'm sure she'll be DLC. Awesomeness Kaboom says, Go Pro, be a Battlegrounds Pro. I guess that means maybe getting the more expensive edition of the game. Again, I'll have to look into this. N Factor tipped me $1. What do you think of the accusations of celebrities in the Me Too movement? So been tying up kids and groping them. What the fuck? N Factor, obviously I don't support that kind of behavior. I don't know anything about specifically what you're talking about, so I'm not going to address it. Alright. Let's now give shout-outs to the top contributors of the week, folks. The top cheers of the week so far, thank you guys very much. We've got a tie for 9th place between Cousins Ven and Awesomeness Kaboom. In 8th place, we got Timbo Slice GB. 7th place is Sambuca 2020. 6th place, Ripley Atomic. 5th place, Carlton Jr. Tied with Shadow the Hedgehog, in fact. So that's a tie for 4th. Only Iced Coffee in 3rd place. Lice for Soul in 2nd. And Young Kaba in 1st. Thank you guys for that support. And then, thank you to those who gifted subs so far this week. We've got Pizza Pasta 1980 gifted a single sub. Shyla Butt gifted 6 subscriptions. And Only Iced Coffee, yet again in the lead for gifted subs, gifting 7 subs. Awesomeness Kaboom cheered. He says, be a Battlegrounds Pro, go to tournaments. Oh my god, dude, you don't actually seriously think there's going to be tournaments for that game, do you? It's not going to be considered a serious competitive fighting game, trust me. Albert Aponte to $3.30. How can you classify Manhunt, in my opinion? I never played enough of it. I played Manhunt during a Halloween marathon. I didn't like it. It was 100% based on stealth mechanics. And they were outdated stealth mechanics because it's on the PS2. And I didn't really enjoy the game at all. So, I'm not a good person to give a qualified opinion. I never did a full playthrough, and when I played of the game, I didn't enjoy. Nitpicking and bias, Judy said, you're afraid the older you get, the less they'll understand games. You sound like my 60-year-old boomer dad with all the anti-gore, sex, and drug talk. I mean, yeah, of course. I'm totally anti-sex, drugs, and gore. That's why I play video games that are full of it, right? No. More like, I played the game that had the most excess of it ever, and it was hyper-realistic and meant to be hyper-realistic to make you feel bad, and that's why I didn't like it. Nitpicking and bias, when you sound to me, is like you're a completely immature person who doesn't actually want to listen to reason or any kind of rational arguments for my review. Instead, you just want to try to make fun of me and act like I'm too old to play video games. In reality, what you will find is that I will ultimately be more qualified than you because I have way more experience under my belt being 12 years of a content creator, and I don't give a shit about what you say. Awesomeness Kaboom cheered and said, already been confirmed there will be microtransactions in the deluxe. You get loads of points. Are you surprised that there are going to be microtransactions? I'm not. There's always microtransactions in the WWE games. They always put out like a season pass and a ton of other shit. So that's not surprised at all. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break. I'm going to use the restroom. And actually, I'm going to grab the Switch because my wife this morning wanted to play some Animal Crossing. And I told her, hey, I got to do a pre-stream anyway. I'm in no hurry to get this thing set up for Fire Emblem. You can, play some Animal Crossing this morning while I'm doing pre-stream, and I'll come get it after and hook it up, and I'll play. So, yeah, let's take a quick break, everybody, and I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll get hooked up here, and we'll get started with Fire Emblem Three Houses. Sound good? All right, I'll be back in a few. Thank you, guys, and see you in a bit.